Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your October 2025 tarot card reading. I'm Jordan, the Green Moon Healing Spirit. I'm going to be pulling 10 cards for you from this traditional Rider-Waite deck, and then I'll be clarifying with these Gilded Tarot cards, about 3 cards per each of those. At the end, I'll pull you a Fantasy Oracle as well as a Talisman card. And I'll be very interested to see, of course, what happens with all of you. Aquarius, you have something very sort of deep happening in your sign right now, and there's a lot of interesting things in the air, I have to say. Not as crazy as last month, I don't think, but as to how it will affect you, I never really know. Shuffling up the cards a little bit to give them some energy. And I do hope you're having a good month. I wish you all the best always, Aquarius. You're such an enlightening sign sometimes. I have a lot of friends who are Aquarius that I really look up to. But let's see what we get for you. Of course, the cards in the astrology aren't always exact, but such is the nature of life. We have free will, and I do often see parallels, but let's see what we get. All right, Spirit, what do we have in store for Aquarius? Anything that they need to know this month for October 2025? Okay. All right, let's see what we get for Aquarius. A magician. Wonderful. Page of Pentacles. Four of Swords. The Emperor. Knight of Cups. Okay, let's start with that. So right off the bat, to start the month, I do see there are some rather big and powerful major arcana here. I always see the Emperor. He draws my attention the minute I pull him. It's such a state of authority and control and an agenda. But let's start with the Magician down here. So to start off the month, I see you as being in already a little bit of a transformative mindset, maybe trying to usher some things in from somewhere else, trying to manifest things from one place into the next. But there is a degree of understanding and there is a bit of a connection to the beyond, to I see this little symbol here. I always see the Magician. It's important to understand all of the things that have built him up to this point, that he's allowed to do this. And I do see this as a bit of an exploration for you right now. There is a connection to something so beyond yourself, I feel like, but it's something that you're starting to do almost innately these days. I don't know why I'm getting that now, but for a while, Aquarius, Pluto has been in your own sign. This is a very highly transformative sort of energy. And it's been in and out of bounds, and it will be for the next few years. But out of bounds, Pluto is extremely amplified. All of the powers of transformation and sort of transmutation, rebirth type energy. There are things that have ended, of course, for some of you to get here. And maybe some of you are rebuilding or remaking or reclaiming energy from one thing to put into another. I'm not getting all of that with this, but I just see that that might be some of the energy that would contribute to the magician's ability. I do see, of course, during this whole time, the sun is in Libra, which for you is your ninth house. So that is somewhat of a spiritual place. It is a connection to spirituality, how we can learn and how we can evolve our own spiritual beliefs. And it does have to do with higher learning, very much like the magician has. And I do see what the magician is trying to summon up for you might be a real offering in some kind of real place, some kind of real sign. I feel like the magician is trying to bring a sign, and I do see that you might be starting off in the beginning of October. There might be something appearing for you based on something that you might have seen somewhere that you're trying to bring through. I do see the page as more of a beginning energy to something, something real though. The page offers something real. There's This isn't sort of wishy-washiness. This is like something actually real. So I do see that whatever the magician is trying to bring into reality, he may actually be getting for you, Aquarius, and that's a very good thing. Um, I do see there is a sense here of how you're going to use this, but I do see a sense of wanting it to come through, whatever that is for you. Some of you, this could be something at work. Some of you, this could be something um, in home life, like with your house, something like that. I just see you're trying to find some reality, but you do sort of find that is what I'm seeing. And the Four of Swords following that is almost like a sense of how you can use this to expand. Like the Emperor is all about expansion, but there is a point of inflection here. The Sun being in Libra is a very interesting place in the ninth house and how we can apply the real steps, the real things that we have in the real world to our own self betterment. And sometimes it does have to do with spirituality. It can have to do with traveling and how we can connect the dots together. But right about here, right when this happens, right about here, we have also Venus joining Libra in the ninth house as well. So this is all about attracting and harmonizing things, but there's also something we do need to discuss as well. At this point, we do have right about here, around the 6th, Mercury is moving into Scorpio. So this does speak exactly almost to this message of like depth and how you're going to use this. This Four of Swords is able to achieve a depth in reflection and meditation and understanding and communication. Scorpio is all about depth, understanding, vulnerability, how to apply, how to enable, how to end certain energies, how to transform certain things. Scorpio is a very, and it can have to do with pooled resources as well. I don't see that for you right here yet, but I do see Mercury and Scorpio for you is in your 10th house. So that does have to do with like your public image. I do believe the Emperor is a very public figure, but also it has to do with career and work. Some of you may be trying to expand at work to try and get some, maybe some of you get a little bit of a raise, that's possible, but I do more see like a sense of public image with the Emperor as trying to expand in that way. I see that the Magician and the Emperor are kind of connected in that way for me. I feel that the Emperor is all about authority, control, taking control, claiming control, using some means to achieve control. And Scorpio with Mercury there, I believe communications like the four will get very, very deep in that place where you're trying to expand in that way and how you can understand your position and wherever you are, some for you for your job, others just in your public space. And with Pluto in your own sign, there's a bit of having to recognize things which are able to stick around. But I do see at the middle of the month here, the Knight of Cups coming after the Emperor, I don't see any malicious energy in you. There's no like the Emperor can sometimes be seen as like warmongering or extra controlling. I really don't see that. I do see that you are trying to maybe control your public image a little bit, but it's in a way that you can portray your faith. And of course, with Libra, where it is for you in the ninth house, it's definitely trying to harmonize and sort of heal, bring all of that energy that's able to guide it to its place of natural expansion, is just what I'm seeing here. The Knight of Cups is all about good faith and good feeling and an offering of that. I do see you as kind of like pouring some of that in, some of that Aquarian energy to try and really not just feel like your public image is better, but I feel like you really want to feel the faith and spread the faith in that public space. Some of you may be using this means to really connect deeply with your surrounding area in the 10th house, and with Venus and Libra in the ninth house. Some of you are connecting a little bit to this faith, to this. Some of you might be joining a congregation or becoming an active member in a congregation somewhere, or at least somewhere at work as well in that public image. Very interesting energy, Aquarius. It is a bit transformative. I do see this as being kind of the Aquarian approach to connect with others, but let's pull more cards. The Devil. Okay. Ten of Swords. Here comes all that stuff. What's for Aquarius, Spirit? The Star. That's your card, Aquarius. Beautiful. The Moon. Okay. And the Lovers. Okay. And now I'm going to pull you a guiding card for the month, a guiding energy. Spirit, what do we have? A guiding energy for Aquarius for the month of October. Ten of Pentacles. Lots on your mind, Aquarius. What a large dream that is. Okay, so I do feel there may be a challenge somewhere here. Okay, but I don't see that it's a giant issue. So wherever you're going here, I do see the Page of Pentacles as like an earnest. Some of you may be creating this for yourself. I do see the Page of Pentacles and the Magician as just kind of being related, where the page is really offering something real, where the Magician was trying to find something in the ether to pull through. So maybe this has to do with that idea with Libra in the ninth house connecting to that spiritual place. You also have a couple other things that are going on. You have a full moon in Aries, which for you is the third sign. It's all about like methods of communication needing to change, and that could have to do with this. But I do also see um, how you can be relating to others and learning. There's a lot about learning there as well. Some of you may be like trying to shape the way that you're going about in this public space and what resources you're pulling from, how you're going to allow that to define you and where you are in your position in life with your group, with your work, with your family, all of that sort of stuff. I do see there is a really sharp inflective moment here on how you can allow this opportunity to expand your life and reclaim some control. I know that Aquarius, for the past couple months, I do know for your sign that things may have felt a little bit out of control and a little bit too transformative. With Pluto in the first house, things can get extremely challenging. It's just a lot of constant transformation and things can get deep. And when Mercury is in Scorpio in the 10th house, communications might get deep, might get pensive, like the Four of Swords tends to be. Okay. Um, I do see a lighthearted spirit trying to bring forth some good faith to allow yourself to confront this moment, of course. But there is a sense of expansion and trying to reclaim a little bit of that control that you might have felt as missing. There is, of course, the devil represents an obstacle, and I do see an obstacle. For you, some of you, this might be your own self. For some of you, this could be others. I do see the devil representing a tendency to be stuck, be unable to kind of move past a habit or some part of this which might have been keeping you and might try and continue these little things that sneak up on you. There is just a sense of like grabbing on here that I feel like you may be trying to bring things with you that shouldn't be where you're going. And there may be, again, with Pluto in your sign and also with some of the other things happening with Neptune, which is in Aries in your third house, tactics of learning, there may be illusions there in that communications place, in the way that you connect with others and learning, that has to do with old mentalities, old modalities that you need to simply move beyond because they are keeping you stuck. They're not really good. But we do have some very interesting things coming up at this point. And we're going to clarify all these cards, Aquarius. But right around here, this Ten of Swords shows up. This is about the place where you have a new moon in Libra. So this is all about planting the new seeds that you wish to cultivate in that ninth house space, how you're going to continue to connect or develop a connection with the unseen, with the spiritual plane, and some of you like the mass sort of higher learning elements. And sometimes in order to do that, we have to think about all of the things that are taking up space for us, things like this devil energy that are going to stop you from filling that space with something productive. The Knight of Cups and the Emperor are so ready to spread this faith, to spread this message, to spread this opportunity, to share and do all those things like you want to do. To spread this money or whatever it is, to really take it and give. I do see that something needs to stop here. I do think it has to do with this devil energy. This Ten of Swords is all about endings, permanent ending. Um, Something that might have been sticking around like this devil that's just been unable to totally dissolve. But at this point, just know it's right about here as well, where Neptune shifts from the sign of Aries back into the sign of Pisces, which for you is your second house. So this is dissolving those illusions for you, and it runs into Saturn there in your second house around the 22nd. Those illusions about money and those illusions are dissolving. Money, stability, finance, all those things. And I do think it is related to this Page of Pentacles. There may be some offers on the table with this Magician that you might have been considering at this point. Before October started, some of you may have been entertaining offers. And one of them might finally be coming through, but it can't be allowed to expand in the way that it's trying to naturally expand if something is standing in the way, if something is occupying that space, if something is keeping you from committing fully to it. But I do see whatever it is, the minute Neptune sort of comes back into Pisces in the second house and those delusions, it could be some beliefs that you had in the way that, like, Pisces is a very spiritual place, and it's all about that misty, foggy energy with Neptune. It's a very complicated feeling, sort of very confusing place. And I do see that there's a little bit of conflict here. Um, Whatever it is, I do feel like you are ending some of those energies to try and make space for this new opportunity. And I do see this as being a good opportunity for you with the Page of Pentacles. It just has such a humble and innocent approach that seems like it might start smaller, but that's okay. Sometimes those are the very best offer that you get. And as soon as the sun moves into Scorpio in your 10th house, I do see a connection here. I also see this as related to the Ten of Pentacles, that whatever it is that you're allowing to come through, whatever selective processes, the magician always has a sense, it is natural to him, but he does have like a chain of selective processes that need to be passed. When the sun comes into Libra, Libra is a very complicated place, Aquarius, okay? It's a very balanced place. It's a very analytical sort of place, and it does that in a very objective way. I feel like the magician has allowed this thing to come through of its own natural volition, and I see it carrying forward in the very same way. But once the things are addressed that need to kind of dissolve, that have been holding you back, and committing fully, I do see that when the sun comes into Scorpio in the 10th house, now that public image is really starting to glow up to the extent that you wished that it could always, that you wanted for it to. I do see this card, the stars, such a beautifully connected energy, and it has the ability to heal all these past worries and whatever place you were before this, to heal all this Neptunian confusion. There is a small address of that here. I see the star as being so therapeutic for you at this point. I feel like it's connecting this dot with the page of this opportunity and its ability to get you all you would have ever dreamed of and to heal your past pains. And the sun in Scorpio coming with also, there's something else happening. So when Mercury comes into Scorpio with the sun comes later, of course, but they're both going to be there for a couple of days with Mars. So this is a very, and Mars, of course, being the Emperor energy, is a very initiative sort of thing. Mars is all about initiative, and in that house, in that 10th house in Scorpio, with Mercury, the conversations are going to deepen. All of those things are going to get very expansive by nature and even a little bit vulnerable. I feel like you're willing to have the deep conversations in that public space, in that career place, to really find out how you can lean in really hard. And the star connecting to that is such a good energy. I feel like it's connecting you to your dream and all the things you wanted. Maybe a long time before this, like a big dream is coming true with this opportunity. And it will connect you and it will guide you and it will be a beautifully healing sort of thing. And after that, the moon card came up. The moon card, there is a sense of intuition about this, and I do see this as related to the star and the lovers. I do see that right now you're trying to sort of heal whatever's stuck, here. And it goes away, and it takes time to heal that. But I do see the moon always as being a little confusing. And like I said, with Neptune moving into Pisces on the 22nd, that's a complicated place because now we have a lot of water trining energy. Okay, we have a lot of water trining energy. We have Jupiter is out in Cancer. We have that trining all of these things in Scorpio, as well as Neptune in Pisces. There is a sense with Neptune in Pisces, Saturn is also there in Pisces. So there's a lot of things dissolving, having to be held accountable, and it might feel a little bit out of your control, Aquarius. It might feel this intuitive sort of place can sometimes be a little bit confusing because if this crab doesn't follow all the exact emotional cues, one of these obstacles might just end its existence and end some of these things. I do see the moon card as being an intuitive energy, but also a place where you can allow that misty energy to kind of run its course and learn how to trust and learn how to give in and learn how to connect with that emotional intuition, like the star. Um, I don't always see that with the star, but I just see this as a sense of connection to something that you can't see. This is a sense of faith. The crab has to have faith to get through here. If he doesn't have faith, he's going to be lost. If he doesn't rely on intuition, he can't see all the time with this sort of deceptive things that are going on there. All the answers don't make sense at this point. But with some intuition and good feeling faith, like I think the Knight of Cups is trying to offer in this situation, you can get to the goal. It just takes a little bit more than vision. You really have to give a lot, I see here. A lot of trust is what I'm getting at. And the Lover's card, of course, has to do with communications and learning. And I do see this as being, there's a lot happening here with this. This has to do with the relationships, of course. I do see, of course, Venus is in Libra as well. So that's attracting people, it's attracting attention, it's attracting beauty to that ninth house space of communications, learning, higher communications, higher learning, that sort of thing in that spiritual sort of sense. The Lovers coming up next to the moon is almost telling me like you need to have faith in the people around you as well. Um, but you could also be guiding some of them through this energy. You could also be trying to communicate more from the heart rather than just from your mind. Especially with the star, this chain of really powerful major arcana, which you have plenty of in this overspread. I just see such a connection to all of the expanse you may be trying to bring to your social group, to your family, and all of those things. This is, of course, the Gemini card, which Uranus is in Gemini as well, trining all of this. So it's a very transformative place in that 10th house and all of the things that define who you are in that place and how you communicate, how you take the initiative, all of those sort of things. And how you share, of course. I do see that there is a sense of that. And the guiding energy for you was the Ten of Pentacles. This is such a beautiful dream, Aquarius. This Ten of Pentacles is all about not just how you will use money and that all of that you gain, no matter where you are, if you gain it this month or not. I do see there's a chance that some of you could be coming into some money at this point. I mean, this, if not that, it could just be how you all are really seriously considering how you're going to spread the resources, how you're going to share with the social circle, how you're going to share with all the people who've been a part of your group. And some of you, and if this is a job, you might be onto something really huge here. It might look sort of meager at the beginning, but I see if you build it up and lean in with good faith and kind of make sure everything is kept in an honest way, I do see this could lead you to a place, maybe not now, but in the future, of extreme fulfillment of wealth and earthly things that you're able to share. I just see this as a really good faith sort of reading. Of course, we do know, Aquarius, that all that looks beautiful on the surface, especially when the sun is in Libra, the other side of that mirror can be very, very complicated and what has to happen in order for this to occur. But let's pull you a fantasy oracle. Let's see what we get. Spirit, we have a fantasy oracle for it. Yes, we do. We have the Chiromancer, delivering news and collaboration. So the page does deliver news. I do see, like I said, trying to spread the faith, trying to spread some of you, this could be like that spiritual message that I was getting at the beginning. I do see that some of you are trying to kind of spread this faith, and in that ninth house position with the sun in Libra, that is all about spiritual connection and learning in that place. For some of you, if this isn't a job, some of you might be finding your position with God or some higher authority that you're learning to communicate with in such a way that it can expand you. I do see this with the Emperor card, definitely taking some control in this way and trying to spread the news, trying to spread it to your group here. You may not always have the answers, but I do see there's a sense of intuition and faith with the moon. It's not always confusing and scary and awkward. It can be that, but I do see, especially with the Knight of Cups coming up on top of the Lover's card, how we're going to communicate and spread this to the group, how we're going to share with the people around us and enable this sort of expansion, because it could bring you to a really wonderful place, Aquarius. I see this as being a beautiful energy. So very good. And now we'll pull you a talisman card. All right, Spirit, we have a talisman for Aquarius for October. Destiny. Wow, Aquarius. See, all of this Pluto being in your sign has really raked up quite a huge goal for you, I think. Some of you, there's been a lot of accountability and change and transformation and fear. This is giving into fear so that you can transform is such a huge thing, okay? I see such a good faith effort to try and approach some of the things from your past and allow them to dissolve, because this would have been something you were supposed to get in so doing. With the Page of Pentacles, what starts out so small and maybe even just very earnest, I see could turn into something so wonderful. And some of you karmically may truly deserve this. I do see destiny as being such a beautiful energy for you here. And when you have all these situations going on in Pisces, okay, especially like right here, all the big major arcana really start to pop up. There's a lot of dissolution, there's a lot of healing, there's a lot of surrender there. Okay, that's a very complicated place, especially in the second house. It's all about stability and finance and all of the things that help you feel stable and where you are. I do see this would have been coming at this point. There's an address there about what things have not been real and what things are truly definitive as being real. Beautiful. So now I'm going to pull 3 cards for each of these cards for the comprehensive. First, we'll clarify the Magician. Spirit, can we clarify the Magician? Eight of Swords. Page of Pentacles here. Page of Cups. And now we'll clarify the Page of Pentacles. The Emperor again. Seven of Wands. The Star. Beautiful. Big moment here. Now the Four of Swords. Queen of Cups. Five of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. Okay. And Now let's clarify the Emperor. Page of Wands. Nine of Cups. King of Pentacles. And now I'll clarify the Knight of Cups. Nine of Swords. The Magician. High Priestess. Beautiful. Now the Devil. Three of Cups. Queen of Pentacles. And the World. Beautiful on that Devil. And now the Ten of Swords. The Lovers. The Sun. And I have Eight of Pentacles. Now the Star. The Death card. The Moon. Interesting with the Moon coming up that way. Three of Swords. Yeah, something painful with healing there. Now the Moon card, Spirit. Two of Cups. Ten of Cups. My goodness. Okay, a lot of feeling. Six of Cups. And now we'll clarify the Lovers. Pulled too many on that. There we go. Wheel of Fortune. Knight of Cups. The Chariot. And now we'll clarify this guiding card, the Ten of Pentacles. The Devil. Six of Wands. Triumphant. And now I'm doing something different this month. I'm going to pull the cards a little differently, and I'm going to allow more trust to Spirit to just pull one for me. Spirit, and I'll take one pass. If nothing else, we'll just take the two. Anything else for Aquarius for this guiding energy? No. Okay. Which is fine. I feel like we've got so much here. So for those of you who want to stick around, I do offer a comprehensive reading. If you follow the link in the description, you can find me there. I'd love to see you. I always get so much more information in that space. And it looks like we do have a little bit of complication going on, but I do think this is mostly a wonderful reading for you, Aquarius. A lot of really beautiful potential I see. If you like the content, like and subscribe. That always helps me. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. I can't resonate with all of you. There's a lot of you. So I do hope to see you there, and if not, that's okay too. But please have a wonderful month, Aquarius. Always love you all very much, and I will pause it here.